Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into a dynamic you've probably bumped up against if you've spent any time in an organization.
Oh, definitely.
The often tricky relationship between functional managers and project managers.
It's true. There's this almost, legendary tension, isn't there?
Yeah.
The article we've been looking at for this deep dive, it doesn't really pull any punches. It acknowledges right away that these two roles aren't always operating on the same wavelength.
Definitely not on the same wavelength. I mean, the source even mentions eye rolls and raised voices, which paints a pretty vivid picture.
It does.
And it often seems to boil down to what the article calls sharing the same resources for fundamentally different objectives.
Exactly. Yeah, functional managers, right? They're focused on the day-to-day operations, sort of keeping the lights on, optimizing their specific area over time. And then you have project managers focused on a specific change, a new deliverable, needing resources right now to hit a deadline. That difference in perspective.
And yet, making those two worlds work together, actually fostering real collaboration, is absolutely non-negotiable if an organization wants to get things done.
Yeah, both running smoothly and delivering new stuff.
Yeah.
You just can't have one without the other succeeding, really.
So our mission in this deep dive, pulling insights from this article, is to figure out how to bridge that divide.
Right.
We'll look at the strategies, the source highlights for, effective collaboration. We'll dive into the common challenges that make it so difficult and what the article suggests to fix them.
And where technology fits in, too, how it can help smooth things over.
Exactly. This is really about giving you a clearer lens on these dynamics, whether you are a functional manager, a project manager, or maybe you work closely with both.
So you can hopefully navigate them a bit more effectively.
Let's jump into the core question the source tackles first. How can functional and project managers actually collaborate effectively? Because, acknowledging the tension is one thing.
But building a working relationship, that's the trick. Well, the article lays out several strategies. And they seem deceptively simple, perhaps, but they're really the bedrock. One key point is something as basic as holding dedicated regular meetings.
Not just bumping into each other in the hallway, then?
No. The source talks about structured meetings, agendas, minutes, tools that bring clarity to what needs discussing about progress and its impact on operations.
So consistent touch points, not just crisis management.
Precisely. And hand in hand with that is clearly defining roles. This is crucial for avoiding that whole, that's not my job, or I thought they were doing that confusion. The source suggests using maybe a chart, maybe a simpler version of like a SLOTI matrix to map out who's responsible, who needs consulting, who just needs to be kept informed.
Knowing who owns what. It reduces ambiguity and potential turf wars, I suppose.
It feels like knowing responsibilities builds trust. Which leads to another point the article touches on, building mutual respect. That feels a bit more
human,
less process-driven.
It absolutely is. It's about helping each manager genuinely see and, value the expertise the other brings.
Yeah.
The source even suggests things like maybe joint training or team building activities. Anything to break down those silos and help them see the person behind the resource request or the operational constraint.
It's about understanding their world, essentially.
I like that, finding ways to foster understanding away from the immediate pressure of a project deadline. And finally, the source emphasizes planning together. That seems like the ultimate goal here.
Yes, aligning project timelines directly with the functional team's capacity and schedule. Joint planning sessions mean project plans are, hopefully, more realistic about operational loads.
And operational managers understand what's actually coming down the pipeline.
Right. Using shared project management tools, that helps keep that visibility constant, too.
Okay, so those are the strategies the article puts forward for making it work. But let's be honest, the source is also realistic about the difficulties. What are the real-world challenges that make this collaboration so tough?
Oh, the article absolutely nails the big one. The perennial battle, resource allocation. The author uses the phrase heated debates, and you can almost feel that tension, can't you? It's the classic clash. Project managers needing specific people or equipment now.
Versus functional managers needing those same people or equipment just to keep the core business running.
Exactly. You've got the project world saying, we need these 3 engineers full-time for the next month, or we missed the launch.
And the operational side pushing back, but those 3 engineers are essential for daily customer support. We can't just pull them off. It's tough.
It is. The source offers solutions, though, and they do require some tough conversations. Things like prioritizing projects clearly at an organizational level that helps.
So everyone knows what's really important.
Yeah, and using a simple, transparent plan to track resource needs across both operational and project demands. It allows for more informed, maybe less emotional allocation decisions.
It forces that honest discussion.
Honest discussions are key, even when they're, well, heated. What's another major hurdle the article highlights?
Aligning project goals with operational reality. That joint planning we mentioned seems critical here.
It really is. The article stresses the importance of creating a shared roadmap. If functional managers understand why a project is happening and how it might benefit operations in the long run, well, they're more likely to buy in and help align their team's efforts.
Right. It prevents that feeling of projects being something done to us rather than with us.
Exactly. It moves from feeling like a disruption to feeling more like a shared objective.
Makes sense. What about just plain old communication breakdowns?
Clearing up misunderstandings is another big challenge mentioned. The solution here, according to the source, is regular cross-functional check-ins.
Not just within project teams or functional teams separately.
Correct. And crucially, agreeing on common terminology. Jargon is everywhere, right? Making sure everyone means the same thing when they talk about phases or dependencies or even resources. That cuts through a lot of potential confusion.
So, literally ensuring everyone is speaking the same language when discussing progress or problems. Okay. And the final challenge mentioned is managing change.
Yeah, change resistance, it's a constant in pretty much any organization.
Sure.
The article suggests involving functional managers and their teams early in the planning for how a project will actually change their day-to-day operations.
Not just dropping it on them at the end.
Exactly. Developing a simple change management plan with clear communication, maybe some training.
Yeah.
It helps teams feel less blindsided and more prepared. It's about bringing them into the process, not just imposing the outcome.
Absolutely. People are far less resistant to something they understand or, have had some input on.
Definitely.
Now, the source also makes a strong case for technology as a major enabler here. Even if getting people to adopt new tools can sometimes feel like, what did the author say? Pulling teeth.
It can be a hurdle, for sure. But the benefits the article points out are significant in improving communication, tracking, understanding, all the things we've been talking about. The source lists several categories of tools.
Like tools for tracking tasks and seeing progress. Is that the idea?
Yes, exactly. Tools like Asana, Jira, or Microsoft Project get mentioned. They automate task assignment, send reminders, generate reports, basically providing transparency on project status without endless emails.
So everyone can see who's doing what and where things stand.
Right. Those are the tools that give you that visual timeline and status update.
And communication tools, obviously essential.
Absolutely. The source highlights tools like Slack, Microsoft Teams, or Zoom for that real-time collaboration. Setting up dedicated channels for specific projects keeps conversations focused and easily accessible.
Prevents critical project info from getting lost in the general operational chat.
Yeah, keeping discussions targeted seems key.
Okay. What about understanding performance? How does tech help there?
Analytics tools are mentioned, things like Power BI and Tableau. These help monitor both project performance and the impact on operations. Dashboards can provide real-time data insights.
Allowing both functional and project managers to see the outcomes of resource allocation and decisions.
Exactly. Using objective data to guide discussions rather than just gut feelings.
So you can actually see the impact rather than just debating it. That's powerful. And finally, something that seems fundamental, document sharing.
Simple but vital. Tools like Google Drive, OneDrive, or Dropbox ensure everyone is working from the latest version of project plans, requirements, or documentation.
Just eliminating the, is this the right file problem that must save so much time and prevent errors.
It really can. Leveraging these types of tools provides a layer of transparency and efficiency that supports all the human and process strategies the article discusses.
So let's try and bring this all together. We've explored the reality of the tension between functional and project managers, pulling directly from our source material and its pretty vivid descriptions.
Right. We looked at the concrete strategies the article proposes for effective collaboration, consistent structured meetings,
Clearly defining roles,
actively building that mutual respect.
and conducting joint planning.
And we dove into the common challenges that make this so tricky, the classic resource allocation battles,
Aligning goals that seem disparate,
clearing up misunderstandings.
and managing the inevitable change projects bring. along with the solutions the source suggests, like prioritizing, shared roadmaps, regular check-ins, and proactive change planning.
Plus, we saw how technology, from task trackers and communication platforms to analytics and simple document sharing tools, can be a really powerful force multiplier in bridging this gap.
Yeah, enabling those strategies.
The core message from this article, I think, is really about understanding that these roles, while distinct, are fundamentally complementary. By consciously fostering collaboration, proactively addressing the challenges that will come up, and leveraging technology smartly, organizations can achieve successful project delivery and maintain efficient operations.
And the source makes that really important point. It's not just about the project ticking boxes, is it? Bridging this gap leads to improved outcomes and a more harmonious work environment.
That human element,
Yeah.
the reduction in those eye rolls and raised voices we talked about, that's a significant benefit in itself.
Absolutely. Which leaves us with something interesting to consider, maybe based on your own experiences listening to this. If collaboration between these roles is crucial for both the tangible success of a project and that less tangible but equally valuable harmony of the workplace.
Which aspect ultimately drives the other?
Yeah. Does achieving project success through collaboration create a more harmonious environment? Or does fostering a more harmonious environment actually make project success more likely in the first place?
It's a question worth mulling over as you navigate these dynamics yourself.